Hello, you guys. Welcome back. Today we are checking back up on one of our favorite alphas because I have recently received some crazy news. And I say one of our favorites because personally to me, and this is just my own opinion, I think he's one of the funniest. I mean, besides Spray Paint Mike. Today we're going to be talking about Vincent Fisher. And I know a lot of people can't stand him. A lot of people really hate him. But to me, he's not the worst. I mean, when we have literal pedophiles and rapists out here in the alpha male world, guys like this don't seem so bad. I mean, they're lames and they're clowns, but at some point we just gotta laugh at it, right? So if you need a little reminder of who this guy is, he is the one who had the Russian agency model bounce her ass for the camera just so he can let us know that he's getting all the bitches with that Rick James haircut. Meanwhile, you lames are losing your jobs, losing your girlfriends, and pretty much becoming 40-year-old virgins, all because you're not getting lineups.
Go bounce some ass. Bounce that ass. Whose ass is that?
Daddy's.
Boys, listen, you ever been to the airport, the grocery store, the mall? You see a dime, 10 out of 10, and you're like, damn, I wonder who's banging that. It's probably a motherfucker like me. Just gonna be straight up with you. But a lot of you guys hit me up and go, Vince, my girl left, Vince. My boss fired me, Vince, I'm not gonna make rent this month. And I always ask, brother, when's the last time you got a lineup? Because if you looked like money, it'd be impossible to go broke. If you looked like money, you'd make money, right? If I was down to my last $100 and I was starving, I'm getting a lineup. The food's gonna come after that. Everything else will sort itself. Book your barber in right now, get the appointment, and let's turn up, bro.
So I've made a couple videos on Vincent Fisher. The last time we talked about him, he was online bragging about how he bought his new car from that shady ass dealership that all these alphas get their cars from. Remember when they pulled that stupid ass blanket off the car and then he made them put it back on just so he could take a video of himself for Instagram, pulling it off himself? That's just like peak corniness right there. But anyways, after that, he was exposed by John Bravo for renting his penthouse, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But he was online acting as though he owned the penthouse, bragging all over the internet about how, he's living in this penthouse in Miami. And since John is the one who found out this information, I asked him if I could use his clip and just insert it here for you guys. So take a listen.
So I went and I got the address for the place and I looked it up and I found an old Zillow listing, right? But something was very interesting in the Zillow listing. If you guys take a look here at all these pictures, notice something. Look at the decorations, look at the furniture, look at everything. It's the exact same setup, right? That this asshole's using when he's filming his videos, but this listing is years old. So what's the story of it? So I took it even further. I went to the tax website on the address of the house, and lo and behold, he's not the owner of it, right? I went and looked up the MLS and it says that it was rented last October, right? And if you look here, I'm going to show his posting on Instagram. The day he moved in, he was posting it and flaunting it on Instagram like he owns it. Now, this is the thing. I can't see the name of who actually rented it. For all we know, it's rented out for movie shoots, photo shoots, pictures, because I spoke to the neighbors there. And they said they only see him there once in a while. So what's the real story? We don't know, but we do know that the asshole's renting the place.
And that's my whole issue with these lames. Everything's fake. Everything's a lie. Everything's for the gram. From the car blanket thing to him lying to people, telling them that he wasn't on steroids, trying to sell them his fitness courses. Meanwhile, he was on steroids the whole time, to lying about the penthouse. And now we just might have caught him in another lie. So here I have two business listings registered under a Vincent A. Fisher. And wouldn't you know it, they are both inactive. His first business, listed as Invincible LLC, was administratively dissolved on September 27th, 2024 for failing to file the required annual report. There is no EIN number listed, which is unusual for a functioning business. No annual report have ever been filed, meaning that the business was basically never maintained. The company was originally filed on February 16th, 2023, lasted barely a year and a half, and then got dissolved for non-compliance. The second business, listed as Six Figure Fitness LLC, filed on April 10th, 2024, is also inactive. It was scheduled to be dissolved on September 26th, 2025 for failing to file the annual report report, once again, there is no FEI or EIN number. Again, another red flag that this business was never properly set up. No annual reports were ever filed, meaning this LLC has never been maintained. So we've got a pattern, right? Multiple LLCs, all inactive, using the same questionable address, all failing to file with no EIN number, all tied to the same person, Vincent A. Fisher. This makes him look like somebody who is just launching LLCs for image or clout, not like somebody who is actually running a functioning business. But hey, you might be having the same reaction that I did when I first saw this information, which is maybe these dissolved LLCs don't mean anything, right? Maybe he just set up a couple different businesses over the years, and maybe he's just collecting LLCs like Pokemon cards, and he let some of them expire, and the one he's using now is actually legit. I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt, right? But here's the problem. If you go to his Instagram page and click on the link in his bio, it takes you straight to sixfigurefitness.com. Love that. His official website where he promotes his free training course or whatever and sells his coaching program. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the site, the copyright says, copyright 2025 Six Figure Fitness LLC. The exact same LLC that was administratively dissolved on September 26, 2025. So he's actively running his coaching program under a company that the state has already shut down. Like, they didn't even pretend to try. But it gets better, because at the bottom of the website it says, do you have any questions about Six Figure Fitness programs? Wondering if this program will work for you? Give us a call, provides the number. We'll be happy to discuss your goals and how Six Figure Fitness may help you. As if it's a real business with a front desk and customer service hours. And guys, by the way, please don't go looking for this. Don't call it. We're not doing that. Not that it matters anyways, because surprise, the number is not even in service. Shocking, I know. A dissolved business with a disconnected phone number. So then I Googled the address of the business, and it's this old, rundown, sketchy warehouse. Like, I get that he runs an online business, so he might not necessarily have an office or whatever, but then why provide this address as the address of your business? And why list this phone number on your website that's not even in service? And just in case you guys don't believe me, here is Vincent Fisher himself talking about his business, Six Figure Fitness.
Yo, what's going on, boys? Been super slammed the last 3 days, been grinding, setting up the systems to build this thing to millions a month. But as you guys can see up above, we have another $100,000 a month testimonial inside the Six Figure Fitness community from my man Felipe himself. Now, guys, I can't even count how many people we got to over $100,000 a month this year alone. But I'll name a few off top. We've had Flynn, who went from a 17-year-old high school dropout to making over $100,000 a month this year. We had Johan, who went from a homeless combat veteran to making over $100,000 a month this year. We've had Ulysses, who went from working 3 jobs to making over $100,000 a month, and Solomon, who made just under $100,000 a month, 3 months inside the community, now Felipe. But boys, I need you to understand these people are no different than you. Everyday gym people in their early 20s, they found an opportunity, had the balls to go all in, find the right system, the right mentor, and now they're printing. And if you want to do the exact same thing, DM me the word mentor right now. I'm taking a few more people for one-on-one mentorship. If that's you, shoot me the word and we'll get to work.
And look, the reason I'm even talking about this is because these guys want you to follow them blindly. They want you to throw money at their programs and trust every word they say, when their track record is a bunch of lies, missing paperwork when it comes to businesses, penthouses, cars. They have a bunch of businesses that don't even legally exist. Some of them are even out here lying about their height, lying about being on steroids. I mean, it never ends. They preach accountability, but yet somehow they never follow their own rules and expect you to trust them, follow the science, right? Meanwhile, they're out here lying about everything.
We fucking beat the system. Now I keep $1 million in there, I get another $1 million, I buy a real estate property for $4 million. We're fucking balling.
I mean, are we shocked though? This is the guy who spends all his money on lineups and Russian escorts. But don't forget, this guy is all over the internet giving financial advice, talking about how if he was down to his last $50, he would spend it on that 80s cokehead haircut.
Was I'm not gonna lie, if I was down to my last $50 and I was starving, first thing I'm getting is a lineup. The food can wait, right? It's very hard to die or go broke if you look like money. Might just seduce somebody, get a goddamn meal, you know what I'm saying? Might just, go into fries, wink at the goddamn waitress. Hey, on the house. Listen, guys, a lot of you guys are broke because you don't want to look like money, right? Oh, I'm gonna get a haircut at this place because it's 20 instead of paying 100. But that $80 difference could have made you an extra 10,000 a month if you just looked like money.
But I think worst of all, after everything we just learned, worse than giving financial advice is the fact that he has the audacity to give business advice, trying to sell you the blueprint or whatever the fuck.
You guys need to understand that to some degree, life is materialistic, right? It's always broke people judging rich people. They're always like, oh, well, I don't need a penthouse. I live in a box. I don't need a hypercar. I have a Honda. You can't get a hypercar. And for that reason, you're hating, right? But to some degree, the results in your life reflect that you have the blueprint figured out, right? If I was telling you guys all this shit, but I didn't have a penthouse, I didn't have a Russian model rubbing my shoulders, I don't have 4 million in cars, what's the validity to my statements? There is none. So the problem with most men is they're unsuccessful in thinking they have the world figured out to the T. I speak to so many men, I'm like, bro, you need to tweak this, you need to do that. They're like, Vince, yeah, but you don't understand, bro, how my mind works. How your mind works does not work. And that's why you don't have results. So you need to drop your ego and switch your mind, learn from somebody that has the results you want in life, and they're inevitable.
It's just so crazy. I mean, you literally can't make this shit up. It feels like every other week, this guy is getting caught in another lie. I feel like out of all the alphas, this guy has to be the biggest Pinocchio. And honestly, that's going to be a crazy look with that hairdo once his nose starts growing. I mean, like I said, first it was him lying about being on steroids. Then it was him lying about the whole penthouse thing. Then it was him buying a car from that shady dealership, which I guess technically isn't a lie, but it's sketchy at the very least. And now this Shirley Temple buffoon is running around promoting a business that is technically defunct. And honestly, truly, no hate towards Vincent Fisher. You guys know I laugh at these guys. They're corny and they're lame, but I don't have any hatred towards them at all. The main reason I talk about people who are online flaunting their wealth is to remind you guys to not compare yourselves to what you see on social media, because at the end of the day, there is a very high likelihood that it's all smoke and mirrors. Comparison is the thief of joy, and I'm really happy that it seems as though people are starting to wake up to the fact that there is so much fakeness on social media. They're sick of it. They're sick of the whole fake lifestyle facade. People want to see authenticity. They want to see vulnerability. They want to follow honest, humble, transparent people who act like real humans. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care.